Welcome to the Sandro channel. Make sure that you subscribe.
Hey folks, Sandro here with more cartoon news and shenanigans, and today I wanted to do a super quick video just talking about the news that Bob Iger has returned to Disney as CEO. Yes, Bob Chapek, who took over as soon as the pandemic started, they grabbed the old broomstick and shoveled him off to the side there, just swept him up to the curb, and he is gone. What will this bring for Disney in the future? Hard to say. I do think Bob Iger is a better choice to run the company than Bob Chapek. I really just think Bob Chapek, he didn't even do anything to fight against the woke bullshit that's been going on at Disney. We all see it, guys. We all see it. Whether it's the MCU, whether it's the cartoons, where, since Gravity Falls ended, I can't even think of a white protagonist, like a white male protagonist, like a strong one. Like, Disney just doesn't want to portray men as being strong anymore. We're getting these weak-looking characters. We're getting women up the ass with all these shows being led by women. And sometimes they're good. Sometimes, or they usually start out good, like Star Versus started out pretty good. Goes to shit, woke shit by the end. Owl House, I gave up on that show after one episode. I'm like, I know this shit's going to end up being some woke disaster by the end of it. And Amphibia, I did stick with Amphibia. You guys know it. I stuck with Amphibia. Spoiler alert. I think it was a good show. I think it was a very solid show. I think I ended up ranking it 7 or 8 out of 10, or maybe I gave it a solid 7. No, or maybe I gave it a 6. I might have given it a 6. The last episode, I don't want to spoil it for you, but they basically introduce God literally God, just God shows up. Literally God shows up in the last 4 minutes of the show, and he's like, hey guys, I'm God. What the fuck? So yeah, the writers wrote themselves into a corner. They didn't know what the fuck they were doing for that last season, and their explanation for why the music box exists is because God felt like it. Fantastic writing. And by the way, Anne becomes God after she dies when she becomes older. Sorry to spoil the show for you, but maybe don't watch that one. Amphibia, I mean, it's good. It's good enough. I think Hop Pop, it really carried the show. Hop Pop and Sprig really did a lot of the legwork in that one. But yeah, the end, I don't think the ending was worth the payoff. The first 2 seasons are really good. It's that third season that really goes on a tangent to a weird ass place. I just don't understand it. But yeah, the point is, no matter which facet of Disney you're looking at, we see that Disney likes to divide the company into Star Wars, where Kathleen Kennedy has destroyed it. We look at the Muppets, which, they try to have their own little Muppet shows here and there, and they always just seem to be ending, right? They did a Muppets Baby reboot. They did this weird sitcom show with the Muppets that failed after 1 season. They're failing with the Muppets. They're failing with their animation. They're failing with, Star Wars, and they're failing with the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which is now dubbed the MCU by fans. I do not think that Bob Iger is the guy to fix this. I think we're just bringing back the old guy who really just, he ran it pretty decently for a while, but you get too comfortable in the position and you stop producing. I used to work at the Home Depot. I told you guys this dozens of times. Every 2 to 3 years, they change the manager and send them to a different store so that they don't get comfortable in their position and they keep producing, right? They keep producing numbers. They keep on their toes so they don't get too comfortable. I feel like Iger is too comfortable. They're going to replace him very quickly. I did read somewhere here that there's already reports that the deal is only going to be temporary, and it's only going to be 1 or 2 years of Iger, and then he himself is going to be swept off the stage for the next guy. And I just hope the next guy that comes in here actually fights back against all the woke activism and all the woke bullshit we've been seeing. Even in Pixar. Did I touch on Pixar? I didn't. But Pixar, we're seeing they just aren't making villains anymore. Like now there's like this weird stigma. It's like, where's the villains? You know, Incredibles 2, that's a superhero show, or that's a superhero movie. We saw, what was her name again? Screenslave or Ellen something. Ellen DeVille, or I can't remember the name. She had like Syndrome. She was nowhere near as good as Syndrome. She wasn't even good at all. I thought she was like a very bad villain that was very gimmicky. And, the villains they're making nowadays compared to the golden era where we had like Sid, we had Randall, we had, Syndrome from The Incredibles, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We had all these like great villains, and now we've kind of just been reduced to these weird slice of life stories that most people will fall asleep watching. Like me, Luca. I'm watching Luca. What a boring movie Luca was. My God. These new Pixar films, they're just not living up. They're just not living up. But the whole company needs a refresh. That's what I'm seeing here. But we do have this exit message for Bob Chapek. Let's see what Disney said. We thank Bob Chapek for his service to Disney over his long career, including navigating the company through an unprecedented challenges of the pandemic. The board has concluded that as Disney embarks on an increasingly complex period of industry transformation, Bob Iger is uniquely situated to lead the company through this pivotal period. So they basically said, this must hurt. If you're Bob Chapek or Bob Chapek's friends or family, goddamn, listen to this statement. Disney just comes out and they're like, fuck Bob Chapek. This bitch was not ready. He isn't ready to lead the company through the next transformation period here. He was basically the bitch boy to, Bob Iger basically wanted to stay home during the pandemic. And, Bob Chapek was the whipping boy who he took the brunt of it, right? It's like, oh, why aren't Disney's numbers doing so good? Pandemic, so he puts all the blame on Chapek, and then he comes back in like the knight in shining armor here, trying to look like the hero. But I don't think it's going to work. I think people are really just tired of both of the Bobs. Maybe try hiring someone not named Bob for a change, for Christ's sakes. Yeah, that'd be really great. But this must hurt if you're if you're related to Bob Iger. Just hearing Disney say, yeah, he was decent during the pandemic, but Christ Almighty, he is not getting us to where we need to go. So we're scrapping him. Just toss him in the bin. Get him out of here. So that must really sting for him and his family. But that's just business, huh? That's just business. That's how it goes in these corporate, business suit type of ordeals. You get into the higher echelons of business, and the politics of it just yikes. So that's going to be it. Just a quick little video on the update here. And I do want to hear your guys' thoughts. Do you agree with me that like almost every facet of Disney is closing during the pandemic? Disney, you might have forgotten about this, but Disney used to have like Disney stores all across Canada. I believe they shut them down during the pandemic. So like Disney isn't even getting their merch across Canada now because a lot of those special Disney stores were closed. The price of the theme parks are going up the ass. And people are saying the quality has dropped so much, especially in the last 10 years. Like every facet of Disney just seems to be slumping. They're slumping. They're stagnating. We went from Bob to Bob to Bob. We're just in a loop. We're spinning around in a fucking loop. And things are not looking good for Disney. So I hope they get Bob Iger the fuck out of there ASAP. And they get some fresh blood that can get rid of the woke bullshit that's going on in this company. And hopefully fix it for the better. But I do want to hear your guys' thoughts. Do you think Bob Iger's gonna, bring them to where they want to be? They say that we're going through a transformation period. It's true. Netflix cutting corners, Nickelodeon or Paramount, cutting corners. All these major animation, especially Warner Bros. Good God, it's called the choppening. They're just cutting everything over at Warner Bros. But we really are in a transformation period. And I say Bob Iger is just not the guy. I say Bob Iger is not the guy to bring us to the next big step of Disney. So I do want to hear your guys' thoughts. Who could be? I don't know. I don't follow like Disney business here. Like who's waiting in the wings? Who could be the next person to take this company from point A to point B and bring it to a brighter tomorrow? Let me know down below. And let me know if you think Bob Iger is actually going to succeed in his job here. I think he's just holding the position for the next guy. He's basically a towel boy at this point. And yeah, I just pray for a better Disney. But don't get your hopes up. Don't get your hopes up so you won't be disappointed when the expectations aren't met. So that's going to be that. I do want to hear your guys' thoughts down below. Please like, please share, please subscribe. By the way, not sure who did this artwork. I love it. This feels like this just feels like my childhood. Like my mom as a kid bought me like every VHS for Disney. Literally, I'm just seeing my entire childhood in one image. This is really awesome. I even might use that as the thumbnail. We'll see. I love the pick here. But yeah, that's the end of the video. So please subscribe. And why not watch an ad for your boy Sandro? Thank you guys so much. Peace out. Bye-bye.